Tug Toler, here for a podcast that we have no name for yet, right? Like it's just three idiots sitting around talking is what it's going to be. That's not a bad name, actually, when I think about it. We'll see. So Esource Miller, Tug Toler, thank you guys very much for joining, and I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves.
Drew Patterson with Zink Food Service.
Steve Progar with Redstone Group.
What do you guys do? You just covered up the name. It just got me. What do you guys do? What do you guys do with Redstone? And
I am Tug of the West.
That's a terrible title. I don't think anyone wants that title, sir.
I am the regional account manager, end user specialist, focusing on healthcare and education for Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, and Dayton, and am a proud member of the Paradigm Culinary Committee, which is why I'm here today.
Tug of the North. Is that you
Tug of the North.
That's all you needed, sir.
Yeah.
That was very long-winded to just say.
He set the stage there.
Yeah,
didn't he?
Yeah. Like it was.
Answer the question. Yeah.
Tug and I like to cook. We like to laugh.
At times, we like to be the general idiots. All right, so we're hanging out. We just did a little experience, which look for it in the future from these two. They're going to be doing some experiences. We always have them at Esource Miller. We love to have you guys join us. Hopefully, it's a good time with them. I know it's always a good time with me because me, right? But them, I don't know. We'll see. But definitely look for that. What we're here to talk about is some of the things that rep chefs can do for you guys that you may not know, you may not realize, you may not understand, that really it's worked into the price that they already bought the equipment for. So it's the pre-sale and post-sale things that we can do as rep chefs, right? That's kind of what we're here to talk about. So Steve, give me a little example of what we're just kind of talking about.
You know, really it's on the post-sale side, I think, is the harder part, because I think people, they tend to think that you just kind of you move on from the sale. But, you know, an example that I have is we just had a customer buy a Lincoln oven. Kind of we're going in a certain direction, and it just wasn't a viable direction. It was going to be a game changer for them in a bad way.
Right.
And so we went in and talked to them about the product they were using and the direction they wanted to go on a menu, and offered menu support, offered a little bit of support on where to put equipment, kind of
Flow,
after showing it, or after placing it, absolutely, with flow and just how it's important to the operations. So.
About think he's going to look like a floating head because of the black jacket, the black wall. That's going to be amazing.
Well, luckily,
that's true. Huh?
The wall, so we're probably pretty good.
Like, ooh,
it is Halloween coming up, right?
And he's very ugly, so he's super
and
scary.
I do have a head the size of a pumpkin.
That's
as well,
true.
So
Hellraiser. No, it's you know, one of the things that often gets overlooked, and one of the best benefits is we can make people feel comfortable with the equipment. And because a lot of times they get this brand new piece of technology and they're scared of it. And they are scared of it.
And it's expensive and they don't want to break it.
Absolutely. And so we can go in and really alleviate a lot of those fears, show them how it really will work for them, show them, you know, that most of the time, knock on wood, they can't break it. And that, you know, you take care of it, it can last you a long time and you can do incredible things with it. And it just eases those worries.
Right.
So,
yeah. So I had one very recently that this is a customer that's had these combi ovens since it was the P3 combi oven, if you remember those, the Cleveland Combotherm back then. So they've had it for a very long time, and they've done this product in it forever. And they have recently said, well, we want to kind of change it up. And their chef that was tasked with it asked me for one thing where he said, we want to take time out of the program. Great. So I gave him like, hey, here's this. Give me some feedback. Because we tried to actually have them come in and present it, and they couldn't find time for that. So I just gave them the program. They tried it. We didn't hear from them for a long time. And then now 2 months later, it became this big thing where we had people from Combotherm fly in. We had one of the regionals from Well-Built come in, and it was just to show like, hey, we have support here for you. And in talking to them, they were telling us like, hey, I've just been struggling with this for 2 months. I was like, dude, I'm 5 minutes away from you guys.
2 months ago, I could have helped you.
I could have knocked this out in a day. And I get that they need to get that trust, right? That needs to be built and earned, right? But it's just one of those of like, hey, we're here. And I could have absolutely, like, you've clearly struggled. I can see the frustration. Just reach out and ask for help. And it's one of those that I will never say no. Doesn't matter if it's a combi that we even sold you, right? Like if it's this combi that I represented in the past, if it's something that I didn't sell you and it's one I represent now, but you've had it for 10 years, I don't care. I'm going to help you guys because I want you to be able to use it and not be a paperweight like we were talking about with that other combi. That's
or a storage closet, right?
Yeah, we just hang things in it, right? You're saying, right? So,
well, and then the other side is post sale, but it's in the beginning. I mean, with all the technology and the ability to do things on USB and through the cloud to be able to do menus prior to, so it's really truly plug and play.
Right.
I mean, I think that's a huge distinction that's unique.
Yeah.
So
another place we really interject ourselves is in the pre-sale, I
Right.
think, because we can stop people from making very expensive mistakes.
Right.
And how many times is somebody come in and is like, I really need a high-speed oven and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Like, you don't need a high-speed
You're right.
oven.
Right.
You
That's not
need
the right application.
you need this. And you can really help them save money. You can help them make their business more efficient, the flow of their kitchen, their staff's going to be happier. So really being able to spend that time in our test kitchens can make a night and day difference. And so that's why it's great when, either we bring them in, we can have them come in. It's always great to have these groups in our spaces to do these menu testing developments
with their
products, because their attention isn't pulled in a million different directions.
Right.
They get to focus, they get to pay attention, and they truly see what their products can turn out like. And I think that's the best case.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'd all like to think that, those kitchens were built for us, but they're not, right? They're built for the customer.
Well, and I'm certain you guys have the same thing. Almost every chef I talk to, if they didn't design the kitchen, they're all going to say, who built this? Who designed this thing? Why would they even plan it like this? Like every chef has that. And then the one that designed it had it for that idea. And that's what so it's one of those that we know that there's turnover in the restaurant industry.
Right.
It's going to happen a lot. When that turnover happens and training needs to happen, we're there for it. But on the designing things, we can obviously help on flow and things like that.
Yeah.
You had brought up your test kitchen. How many kitchens do you got?
That's a great question. I think 5. That's a lot of kitchens. I think 5, and there's at least one more being built right now. So
half a baker's dozen.
Yeah, half a baker's dozen. So we're getting there. The goal is obviously to have a kitchen and a culinary support in every market. That way we can really service the customers in every one of our spots. And some are partnered with different factories. Some are partnered with some ASA. So, they're all a little bit different, but it's also just great being able to have some place for them to come.
Right. Steve, how many do you have?
We are currently have 2 with a third coming online, probably Q1 and a Q1 of 2025. So.
That's cool.
I get to manage them all, so I'm a busy boy and doing some traveling here pretty soon. So
we've forever only had one, and it's been something that we've been wanting to do. We have started a partnership with Free Progar recently, so we're going to have 2 more coming in, but I'm not going to have to manage. So that's nice. Have a couple pieces in there to come in, and then get to be like the factory chef. Like, I got a plane to catch. I can't really have clean. I gotta get out of here. You guys got this, right? You just clean it all up. You good? You good? We're good. All right, I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, we've seen a large uptick with our broadliners wanting to bring customers in, because it used to be, when someone wanted to try a product, they'd get with that broker and they could look at that product that day. And then the next day they'd have to have a different broker and to look at their version of that. And then, because they didn't like doing cuttings all at once, because, nobody wants to bring a Ford, a Chevy, and a Dodge to a party and let you pick. They want to show you theirs, right? So these broadliners have started to really want to bring customers in and bring all the product and make it a real one-stop shop for them, which has been a good experience for us too, because they're starting to bring in more and more customers that they might be looking at just a new French fry, but we can really show them all the benefits of how can this Frymaster fryer with this control panel and this filtration system save you a ton of money and continually give you better product through the life of your restaurant. And so it really helps us both.
Yeah.
Or even just holding, right? We were talking about that Merco Max, right? And that you can get a lot longer hold time out of a fried product. And most people don't really realize that there's newer technology out there that we can get much longer hold on something. That
as the labor crunch keeps coming on, it's just, it's a mandatory thing.
And it's not the old school heat lamp.
Where it just cooks it, continually cooks it.
Turn it over, the other side. Got to give it even.
Exactly.
Get a little
I think the other part of our job too is that makes a ton of sense is educating the dealers, and the dealer reps out there, because they're the front line, selling to the end users. We can't always get the end user in. So it's incumbent on us to educate those dealers, so that they go out and spread that information. So, which
was awesome. Like today, you had some dealer community in, and being able to do these experiences for them, it really opens their eyes too, because they can't stay on top of every piece of new technology that comes out or every piece of new equipment. And I know they try, but being able to bring them in and do a continuing ed class or something like that is a really great thing.
Yeah, and hopefully it's more fun than just like a classroom style of
absolutely right.
There and I'll show you this. And oh my God, no, can't do it.
And you always want the ones you always want the ones who want to touch stuff too, because those are the ones they're going to remember.
Right.
They're going to be invested. Like my favorite school demos are when I go in and there's that one lunch lady or lunch guy, and they've already started playing with it and pushing buttons and everything. Exactly. I love it, because then the rest of them are terrified. I'm like, she's already figured it out and she's pushed buttons and she's comfortable with it. Those are the best demos when they've already started playing with
it. See, I do the other side of it. I find, because there's usually a group around you, right? And there's always going to be someone.
You look for the deer in headlights?
No, the one that has their arms crossed. It's like, I'm not going to.
Yeah, they're totally closed down, right?
Because the staff knows that person, right? And so I'll say, hey, can you come up here? I need to use your, let me borrow your hand and your fingers.
Right.
Touch these buttons for me. That's so, because if I can get that person to be like, it's not that hard.
Right.
The rest of the group that knows that, like, hey, she won't do anything with that.
Right.
Or like, well, if Mary can do it, then I will definitely be able to try it, right?
You need to have everybody lay their cell phones on the table to see who's got the flip phone and who's got the iPhones. Then you choose the flip phone person, right?
Does anyone have flip phones? I mean, now there's new flip phones. Does anyone have flip phones?
They're called jitterbugs. They have 3 buttons,
Yeah. Not a dance.
They're 55 plus phones.
Yeah, one for emergency, one for home, one for.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Help me, I'm falling. I can't get up.
I think Steve had one.
Steve's pretty old. Steve,
I'm a little older than everybody at the podcast today, but I'm still walking, so we're good.
Barely. You got 2 new knees.
Yeah,
true story. And I did trip a couple of times today.
He did trip. Big tree almost fall hard.
He didn't fall, though.
He did not fall.
He caught himself.
He did.
I am somewhat graceful.
And it was great because I was just talking about equilibrium, so it was amazing. It was great timing to do that.
Yeah.
That was amazing, sir. All right, well, I think that's going to bring us to the end of our topic, right? We talked a little pre, we talked a little post, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just important for everybody to know out there that it's available for them.
Right.
And
we are a resource.
it's why we exist as a position, and it's why the kitchens are there. They're there to use.
This is a great example of, like, it doesn't matter where you are.
Right.
We have support. We all know each other. We can ask for help from the other person. Hey, can you go out there and check on that for me? Or, hey, can you help them with this? And we are absolutely willing to help. I mean,
and that happens a lot in the chain world when there's somebody down here that's...
Yeah, we have a lot of chains that are California chains, but they have people that live here and they come in to check out pieces of equipment of ours. And it's not anything that we sell. It's fine, but we're just helping our... And
that's, Paradigm helps to connect that whole, the whole border of the U.S. Right?
Yeah.
Border to border.
So thank you guys very much. Hopefully it was somewhat entertaining and somewhat knowledgeable. Of us, at least, maybe.
It's entertaining for us.
Well, yeah, we giggled, so that's fine. A bunch of girls. So thank you guys very much. We'll see if we can do one of these again sometime soon.
Wave bye, floating head.
Bye. Toodles.